Okay, so what we're doing right now is called post pins. Um, this is a brief preview of what it looks like in Firefox. Post pins, you see the first article, the shift, earth, power centers, etc. Then the second one. And then I've taken out the rest of them and replaced it with post pins. So now you can see it has a picture for all of them in a straightaway line. Now, of course, the first thing that's probably going through your mind is that you want to change it around. Because remember, this is all about experimentation. So as you can see, the post pins are made up of all the different articles that you have on the site. And if you want to load more, you just click this and the database will dynamically load more articles into the front end of your site. Okay. Now, as you can see, it took a second to adjust, but it's added more post pins. Okay. Um, and now you don't see any load more button. Now, that was just a quick demonstration. Now, let's go back and see how it works. So, let's come over here. Let's see here. All right, so now we're looking at the DMS front end, which never looks like you would think it would look. Where is it? Sorry, I'm in the wrong window. Okay, so here's our post pins. And if I come up to where it is, here it is. You can see right here, it says post pins. So obviously, since you've been working on DMS, you already know about hitting the little pencil so that down here the options show up. Now, all of those post pins that showed up on that other page was because I chose it to only have the ones that had the new feature category be in your post pins. Clearly, all you have to do is click this and you can use show all. And of course, that would mean every article on your site will eventually be on the front page. So I'm going to hit publish, but I'm going to do something different. Down, or not down, but up here, it says use load post links. That's why when we got to the bottom of the page, it said load more. You can also use infinite scrolling. I'm going to change it that way so that you can see, okay? And I'm going to hit that, and then we're going to go over back to Firefox and refresh so that you can actually see the difference. I typically don't recommend the infinite scrolling for a very particular reason because remember, you're loading dynamically, which means it will just keep going and it will literally push everything that's on the bottom down further. So now, as you can see, after we get past the second one, we can see all of the different post pins here to the left. And to where it was stopping before, right as your column on the right ended, it's not doing that now because it is just automatically calling every other article on your site dynamically into that window. Okay. Um, that's about as far as it's going for now. Now, again, these are just things, that I'm showing you to actually start getting you in the mindset of the different options there are and how to use them. You see here it says number of pins to load. So if we want, we can choose like a round number. So let's put 20 and then I'll hit publish. And let's go back on over here and let's refresh this window and see what we get. So if you're interested, obviously you're going to have to probably watch this video more than once. So then that way you can start to play with it. One of the things that you made very clear is that you really wanted to start engaging more. I think I've sort of shied away from some of that recently because of I was so busy. But and well, there's some other stuff I'll talk to you about that later. But the bottom line is this is one of the things that you can start to mess around with so you can get used to it. So you see how there's 3 rows here? And let's see, that's 3, that's 6, that's 9. Can't count anymore. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Ooh, look at that. It kept going. Wow, that's not. Oh, right. That's the problem. I'm sorry. I forgot to turn off the infinite scrolling. Hold on. So, here we go. Load post links Ajax. So let's hit publish. Yeah, all it takes is one little thing like that, and you have to go back and reload. And it's the funny thing about these things, you get a lot of options, and they can be great, but they can also be a pain, as you know. So we saw who was at the bottom, and now let's go back down, and you can see now it says load more posts again. Okay, so and you can count them. There's 20, and right now we have a row of 3 because I put them in at I believe, what did I use? I think I used 200 pixels for the pictures, and that's why it's doing it that way. I used 10, and that's the amount of space between the pictures, the gutter. And then also, you can see right here it says pen width 200 pixels, defaults to 237. So if I take this away, it'll probably change into a smaller area with only a couple of pictures, or maybe even 3. So, and also obviously it's going to look slightly different in Internet Explorer versus Chrome versus Firefox, Opera, whatever the major browsers are. When I do development, I basically tend to stick to Chrome and Firefox because of those are the ones with the highest numbers that are being used these days. Let's take a look. See. Also, I think they handle JavaScript the best. So now you can see you've got 3 there, and this, of course, is Firefox. And here we go, stopping again, and you can see load more posts. Okay, so again, pen width 237. So if I wanted to, let's try 250, right? Hit publish, and I'm gonna come over here, and we're gonna refresh. Um, I hope I'm not being too like crazy picky here, but I'm trying to actually make it so that you can get how this truly works. Now you can easily see that because it's 250, it's had to switch to 2 columns. It could no longer fit 3 there, right? Now, what does this mean? Actually, I think it looks a lot better. But the other thing is now everything is so close. So, of course, you come over here, and where it says gutter, let's try and change these numbers around and see if it helps, right? The width spacing between posts and pixels. It says the default was 15, and I had it on 10 because I wanted to make them really close so I can see how many I could fit in there. And lo and behold, it looks like we could get about 4. So let's come here and reload. And I put 40, so I'm hoping it doesn't knock it all the way down to the next row. And yeah, see, that looks substantially better because of now there's some space. One of the disadvantages, though, is when people put in posts that are not symmetrical, like these 2 pictures, you can see how it changes the dynamic. But also, the great thing, obviously, about post pins is it somewhat mimics a little what you see in Pinterest. So, since you seem to be really into that, I figured you'd probably want to play with this post pins piece. Um, so let's go back over here. If we want, remember you can make this number bigger or smaller. Don't be afraid to play with that, Michael. Please don't. Because of that, I think is a good thing. Also, the great thing is like when we're doing other pages, like for instance, if I did an article on each of the authors of Lightworkers World and I put them all in a category, then on a page, if we wanted to do like, Faces of Lightworkers World, we would be able to choose one of these as a category and just put it on the page, and it would all populate nicely and neatly into these wonderful pins. We could have them all symmetrical so that they fit nice and neat, and voila. It's I think partly what we're working on here is getting you to understand the different technology that's going on here so that your what it is that I think that you're stuck on in terms of what you think you want for your site begins to expand. Because I think that there are times when you're saying you want to do it a specific way. And while I'm trying very hard to help you get that, I'm also trying to educate you on ways that will get you what you want and provide more functionality for what you're doing and bring load times down and yada, yada, yada. You know the story. Anyway, so right now it's on show all. Now, of course, if I wanted to, here, let me be facetious. I will just choose astrolosophy and I will hit publish. And then let's go back to the front door. When I hit refresh, that is if my browser decides it wants to cooperate. When I hit refresh, voila, there is nothing in this section other than what I put there. And that's what makes these things great, because if you can really get into it, like say for instance, we wanted to do a special on chakras, we could do all of the articles that are on that specific thing and put them on one particular page. And there's just so many applications. I won't get into it. I'm actually going through the trouble of giving you the screencast because I really kind of want you to begin to start to see all of the different possibilities. And I actually think that that will alleviate a lot of what it is that you're talking about. And I'm also hoping by doing screencasts like this, you'll be able to, have access to them at any time. And other people who decide they want to help out in this respect will have some reference material so they don't feel so lost. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there.